All right. Temple news. Here we go. Fairview mayor receives death threat over the LDS temple. I reported on this last week when it first happened, and there is an ongoing police investigation, so I was not able to share the exact emails, the online threats. And of course, when you don't share the receipts, people, well, first of all, they said I made them up. I'm getting so much of that lately. You made up Elder Oaks. You made up the temple training. I don't make things up. Let me just come out and say that. Yes.
Rebecca, I know that Elder Oaks about Heavenly Mothers.
Yeah.
Has pretty much everybody given in on that by this point that it was legitimate?
I think so.
And what are those people who said you made it up and called you a liar saying when they found out that they were wrong and you were telling the truth?
They never get back to me. They really don't. But in this case, I am finally able to share some of these receipts. And I just have to say, this is so egregious and so ridiculous and so unfortunate. This is Mayor John Hubbard. He's an awesome guy. He was a council member during all of the Fairview stuff going on. Just recently became the mayor after they voted in the conditional use permit saying, go ahead and build the temple. Now, what's going on is that some residents are challenging this based on whether they needed a supermajority. We've talked about this before. I don't need to go into it. So the town, the mayor, they have nothing to do with, quote, blocking the temple. This is not what's happening. There's due process. It's all procedural and has to do with residents taking this perhaps to district court. So one of the first emails, and he received a series of these, and yes.
Rebecca, I'm sorry, I've been talking an awful lot.
No, it's okay. Ask your questions.
I'm just wondering, because you remember now, they were one vote shy of having a supermajority.
Yes, they were one vote shy. And it's true. Mayor John Hubbard was one of the no votes, and he was a councilman.
He is responsible.
There. So maybe if you wanted to look at it that way, possibly, but in his role as mayor and the town, no one is responsible for this, situation.
And still shouldn't be getting death threats or any kind of
nobody
crap
should.
Like that.
Nobody should. Absolutely. And of course, it's interesting because people not only said maybe I made them up, they said maybe it was an ex-Mormon who did it to, disparage Mormons or, LDS member. I don't know. Anyway, the point is nobody can admit that. Would there ever be a time where an LDS person might use a threat to get something that they wanted, like a temple? I don't know. So this first email that he got, and I do know the names of these people, but because it's an ongoing investigation, I know RFM hates it when I redact things.
Well, you know the names of the people who sent this?
Yeah, I do.
Or at least the people who are representing themselves as sending.
Yes, this is true. I know the name they used on the email. That's right. So this first one says, John, and this is speaking to the mayor of Fairview. It has come to my attention that your office is impeding the construction of a temple by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Fairview, according to your original agreement. Okay.
Whoa, and misspelled the name of the church.
Something. Not only does this smell of bigotry, I hope it not, but it also seems to be contrary to good sense. Temples constructed by the Church of Jesus Christ invariably raise property values, beautify neighborhoods, and have a positive spiritual impact on local culture. Okay, one person's opinion. I am currently living in blank on the border of Texas, and this has come to my attention via several viral posts on the X platform. So people are talking about Fairview still, right? It's ongoing. Please know that your impact is being felt and your reputation is noticed far beyond the boundaries of your jurisdiction, for better or for worse. Please make a good decision. These are the most God-fearing and therefore powerful people you will ever meet. Do not make them your enemies. So, that's definitely a little threatening, I think. What do you guys think?
It's not a threat, but it's certainly, I mean, what are they going to do? Not bring you cookies?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's certainly
the missionaries over.
Yeah, it's aggressive. It's
aggressive.
It's a veiled threat of some sort.
Exactly.
Something's going to happen, and you're gonna meet powerful people, top men.
Yeah.
Top men. Don't make these God-fearing people your enemies.
Yeah. You don't want to be on the wrong side of it. Your press might get burnt down. All kinds of things can happen. Whistling whittlers, right? We don't know. So, that was just kind of mild. And, but it was also turned over to the police because, it says don't make them your enemies, But then, and so Mayor John wrote a very nice response. I thought this was great. I'll read this. Dear Mr. So-and-so, thank you for your message and for sharing your concerns. I want to assure you that the town of Fairview has not taken any action to delay construction of the proposed temple by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
The mayor's the one who spells the name of the church right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he knows. The town approved a conditional use permit for the project, and our staff has continued to work professionally and transparently throughout the process. The matter you reference stems from a legal appeal filed by a citizens group, not by the town, challenging the way the protest area was calculated. The appeal is now before the district court and could potentially delay construction depending on the court's decision. In fact, I have proactively reached out to representatives of the LDS Church through the media and offered to serve as an intermediary between the church and the citizens group in hopes of resolving the matter amicably and avoiding protracted litigation. My goal is to help facilitate respectful dialogue and cooperation in the best interest of all parties involved. I appreciate your engagement and hope this helps clarify the situation. Best regards. So he took the high road, right? And didn't say, what are you doing, right? He wrote a very nice professional letter. I thought that was great. So then he received another email, and these next three are from the same person. So this one, to the mayor of Fairview, says, your religious bigotry, and an okay sign. I do not know what that means. I don't know if they use you're wrong or...
These are the same as the first one?
No. The next three I'm going to show are going to be the same person. And there are a series of emails that came in very quickly within a few minutes of each other. So because we don't know how he was using the word your, we don't exactly know what this means, but we do have the phrase religious bigotry, because some people said, oh, he might have gotten a threat, but it doesn't have anything to do with the temple. I believe it does because of the continued use of religious bigotry, meaning, singling out the temple to say we're not going to, we don't want that here. So anyway, I don't know what that means. Has a little okay sign. So then the next one he gets says, oops, you're a bigot. Bummer. Okay. So I don't know if I got something like that. I don't know if I'd be really concerned. I'd just maybe be confused about what was happening. But here's the one that gave the detectives concern. You're, and he did use you're correctly, a religious bigot, and then simply the word die, period. Okay. So I just can't believe it's come to this. The wonderful people in Fairview, the residents, the LDS members, and the people who try to run this town, despite all this going on, there is no need for this. And I just, it's just that I feel like it's that Nephi Laban thing, right? Better that one man should perish so that a temple can be built. Maybe they think they'll take his name through after the fact. I don't know. It's really not funny. I just don't even know what to think. But there are examples of people threatening violence, using violence, violent rhetoric to try to justify their ends. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It looks like all three of these were sent maybe within 1 or 2 minutes of each other. And two were sent at 4:37 and the second one at 4:38.
Yep. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it is, it has been turned over to police and they do know the names. So we'll see.
Mormons are taught. I didn't incur any violence in my time learning about the church or having a testimony of it. No one really persecuted me, but I was taught in Sunday school lessons that we are a persecuted people because we're a peculiar people. We are persecuted. And we've had to go from place to place to place. There was the old Hans Mill massacre. There were lots of other things. We won't tell you the ones that we did to others. We'll just tell you the ones that they did to us. And so you are raised adopting the persecution complex that Mormonism has. I say that to say this, which is Fairview hasn't done anything violent. All violence in any interaction that Mormons play a part in, when you look at the history, 85% of them are things that the Mormons started or carried out themselves. It wasn't the Gentiles who created the Whistling Whittlers. It wasn't the Gentiles who created the Danites. It wasn't the Gentiles who had violent rhetoric about putting javelins through people. It wasn't the Gentiles who carried out Mountain Meadows Massacre. It isn't Gentiles that have the Strengthening Church Members Committee and keeps an eye on everybody. Mormons are responsible for their own violence and for the times that other people got pissed at them and carried things out. Haun's Mill Massacre, horrific. But if we got into the weeds of what happened there, that instance, like every other instance, had some part being played by the Mormons themselves and Joseph Smith, namely.
No, I think you're right. And someone in the chat pointed out, and I didn't catch this, that the very threatening one was the second email sent. So apparently they were just this, and then I think the third one would have been the bummer one. Is that right? I can't.
It's the second one. It's the second one in order here.
Yeah, in order.
We got now this 437.
Right,
That's the first one, and the third one is 437. You can't tell between the two which is sent first, but this is sent a minute later.
And so that would be the last one. Oops, you're a bigot. Yeah. And in all this temple building, it's interesting. There is a form of threatening and retaliation. I think about Cody, how the residents put up a sign that said, "Preserve our Cody neighborhood." They had organized. The signs were stolen. Devils were drawn on it, kind of alluding to, you guys are religious bigots, you're devil worshipers. In Lone Mountain, somebody that was vocal about the temple and the zoning. A review was put on Yelp saying this person is a religious bigot. Do not patronize their business. So there is this retaliatory sense, which just doesn't belong, but they're very quick to cry persecution and religious bigotry right out of the gate. Heaven forbid it should just be zoning or codes, right? No, it's not that. It's got to be persecution. So I totally agree. I'm glad that you explained that, Bill, because you said it so perfectly. So anyway,
it is unfortunate that anytime the Mormons don't get their way, they cry religious persecution.
Yep. That's exactly right. So we'll keep an eye. We'll see what happens next. But as Mayor John said in his reply to the first email, district court now with the residents, and we'll see what happens next. So